what if I told you that some of Hollywood's most cherished stars were living double lives so elaborate that they make today's celebrity scandals look like child's play? Behind the glamour and glitter of the golden age lurked family secrets so shocking that studios spent millions to bury them. We're talking about stars who erased their heritage, invented phantom families, and carried guilt that would destroy them. Chapter 1. Marilyn Monroe, the foster child who never found home. Behind Marilyn Monroe's platinum blonde bombshell image lay one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking stories of abandonment. Born Norma Jean Mortensen in 1926, she never knew her father and spent most of her childhood in foster homes and orphanages. After her mother Gladys was institutionalized for mental illness, the little girl who would become the world's most famous icon was shuttled between 11 different foster families before age 16. She endured assault by at least one foster father and developed a stutter that plagued her throughout her life when she was nervous. At 16, she married a neighbor's son, primarily to avoid returning to the orphanage. Despite worldwide fame and adoration, she remained convinced that everyone would eventually abandon her. On August 5th, 1962, Monroe was found deceased at age 36 from an overdose of barbiturates. The woman who had brought joy to millions had never been able to heal the wounded child within herself. Chapter 2. Clark Gable and Loretta Young, the secret child. In 1935, Clark Gable and Loretta Young began an affair while filming The Call of the Wild, which resulted in an unplanned pregnancy. Fearing scandal, Young devised an elaborate plan to cover it up. She secretly gave birth to a daughter, placed her in an orphanage, and later adopted the child, naming her Judy. For years, Young maintained this fiction, never revealing that Gable was the biological father. Gable never acknowledged Judy, though they met once when she was 15. Young denied the truth when Judy questioned her resemblance to Gable. In 1994, Judy revealed in her autobiography that she confronted Young in 1966, and Young finally admitted the truth. The emotional toll was significant. Young lived in fear of exposure. Gable never acknowledged his daughter, and Judy grew up confused about her origins. Chapter 3. Rock Hudson, the marriage that saved a career. In the 1950s, Rock Hudson was Hollywood's leading gentleman. Handsome, charming, and marketed as the ideal bachelor. In reality, he was a gay individual forced to hide his identity. When rumors threatened to expose him in 1955, his agent arranged a sham marriage to Secretary Phyllis Gates to preserve his image. The staged union ended in 1958, having served its purpose. His 1985 AIDS diagnosis exposed the truth and marked a shift in public awareness. He became the first major celebrity to put a human face on the disease. In his will, he left $250,000 to help establish the American Foundation for AIDS Research. The individual who had hidden his true self for decades used his final months to help save others. Chapter 4. Merle Oberon, erasing an entire heritage. When audiences gazed at Merle Oberon's exotic beauty, they were told she hailed from aristocratic British roots in Tasmania. The truth, she was born Estelle Merle O'Brien Thompson in Bombay, India in 1911, the daughter of a 14-year-old mother of mixed heritage. To shield the young girl from a horrific truth involving assault, Merle was raised believing her grandmother was her mother. When Merle became a star, the studio created an entirely fictitious background, claiming she was from Tasmania, chosen specifically because its records had been destroyed in a fire. She maintained this fiction throughout her life, even refusing to visit Australia until late in her career. As she aged, Oberon underwent painful skincare treatments and specialized lighting to conceal her mixed-race complexion. Even her husband and children weren't told the truth. Chapter 5. Rita Hayworth, the painful transformation. The woman who became the definitive American love goddess began life as Margarita Carmen Cancino, daughter of Spanish dancer Eduardo Cancino. Studio heads considered her too exotic for mainstream appeal. The solution was a complete identity transformation. Her naturally dark hair was dyed auburn. Her hairline was painfully altered through electrolysis to appear less Latin, and her name was changed to Rita Hayworth. Behind this glamorous image lay a childhood of trauma. Her father forced her to perform as his dance partner from age 12, touring casinos in frontier towns. During these tours, Rita endured assault at the hands of her own father, a devastating secret she revealed to her second husband, Orson Welles. "I go to bed with Gilda and wake up with me," she once lamented. Chapter 6. Jack Nicholson, when your sister is actually your mother. In 1974, Jack Nicholson learned a stunning truth. The woman he believed was his sister, June, was actually his mother. His mother, Ethel, was really his grandmother. To hide June's unwed pregnancy in 1937, the family fabricated their roles so convincingly that Jack only discovered the truth at age 37 through a Time magazine reporter. Both women had passed away before he learned the truth. Despite his reputation as Hollywood's ultimate bachelor, Nicholson proved to be a devoted father to his 6 children. The individual who grew up believing his mother was his sister created a different kind of family structure for his own children. Chapter 7. Raymond Burr, The Phantom Family. As the star of Perry Mason, Raymond Burr projected an image of integrity and moral fortitude. Off-screen, however, Burr lived a life of elaborate fiction. Burr, who was gay, invented a tragic backstory to explain his unmarried status. He claimed to have been married to a woman named Annette Sutherland, who supposedly perished in a plane crash during World War II. He further embellished this fiction by saying they had a son who passed away from leukemia. Neither this wife nor this son ever existed. Behind this elaborate smokescreen, Burr maintained a 35-year relationship with his male partner, Robert Benavides. The couple lived together on a vineyard they developed in California. The individual who invented children he never had became a devoted benefactor to real children throughout his life, quietly supporting dozens of foster children, disabled kids, and young people struggling to pay for college. Chapter 8. Spencer Tracy, the Catholic, his wife, and Katharine Hepburn. Spencer Tracy was married to Louise Treadwell in 1923. Tracy was devastated when their son John was born deaf. Believing it was divine punishment for his own sins, Tracy's guilt contributed to his battles with alcoholism and depression. In 1941, Tracy began a 26-year relationship with Katharine Hepburn, which remained largely secret due to Tracy's Catholic beliefs and refusal to divorce Louise. Hepburn accepted the situation, never pushing for marriage or acknowledgement. Only after his demise did Hepburn speak about their relationship. Their story highlights how Hollywood's carefully constructed public personas often mask complex private realities. Chapter 9. Joan Crawford, Mommy Dearest Behind Closed Doors. Joan Crawford meticulously crafted her public image as a glamorous Hollywood star and devoted mother to her 4 adopted children. However, her eldest daughter, Christina, revealed a darker reality in her 1978 memoir, Mommy Dearest. The book described Crawford as an abusive alcoholic mother, subjecting Christina to physical beatings, psychological torment, and bizarre punishments such as the infamous no-wire hangers incident. It was later revealed that Crawford's youngest children may have been adopted through Georgia Tann, a notorious baby broker involved in the exploitation of children through adoption networks. Chapter 10. Bing Crosby, America's crooner and the children who feared him. To the public, Bing Crosby was the perfect family individual, but his son Gary's 1983 memoir, Going My Own Way, revealed a darker truth. Crosby was allegedly a harsh, emotionally distant father who beat his sons and enforced strict rules, including weekly weigh-ins. 2 brothers, Philip and Dennis, confirmed parts of Gary's account, while a third, Lindsay, later took his own life. Crosby's second family denied the claims, painting a conflicting picture. The contrast between his public image and private life highlighted Hollywood's power to fabricate idealized personas that masked painful family realities. Chapter 11. Judy Garland, the father she couldn't mention. Judy Garland's childhood was marked by a dark family secret. When she was 4, her family left their hometown in Minnesota under mysterious circumstances. The reason was her father, Frank Gum, was reportedly a gay individual in an era when such orientations were socially unacceptable. Frank had inappropriate encounters with young individuals, and when rumors surfaced, the family moved to California to escape scandal. Judy was told they were relocating for better show business opportunities, never learning the true reason. Frank passed away when Judy was 13, taking many secrets with him. The full story of his double life remained hidden until after Judy's passing. Chapter 12. Patty Duke, the son with 3 possible fathers. In 1970, Academy Award-winning actress Patty Duke found herself in a predicament that would remain one of Hollywood's more convoluted paternity secrets for decades. She was involved with 3 different individuals in rapid succession: teen heartthrob Daisy Arnaz Jr., actor John Astin, and Michael Tell, a virtual stranger she married for 13 days. When her son Sean was born in 1971, Duke publicly identified John Astin as the father. For years, Sean Astin believed John was his biological father. Later, DNA testing revealed that Michael Tell was indeed Sean's biological father. Despite the confusion, John Astin proved to be a loving father, and Sean declared that regardless of biology, John Astin would always be his real father. Chapter 13. Jerry Lewis, the daughter he never acknowledged. For years, Jerry Lewis was the face of the Muscular Dystrophy Association, raising millions for Jerry's kids. However, Susan Minaret claimed to be Lewis's daughter from a brief affair in the 1950s. DNA testing in 2009 showed an 88.7% likelihood that Lewis was Minaret's biological father. Despite attempts to contact him, Lewis refused to meet or take a paternity test during his lifetime. The painful irony, while he spent decades raising money for sick children, his alleged biological daughter lived in poverty. The contradiction between his public generosity and private coldness toward his own family remains one of Hollywood's most troubling paradoxes. Chapter 14, Gene Tierney, Tragedy from a Fan's Thoughtless Act. In 1943, while pregnant, Gene Tierney contracted rubella after a fan who broke quarantine to meet her unknowingly infected her. As a result, her daughter Daria was born with severe disabilities. Fearing public backlash, Tierney privately placed Daria in an institution, a decision kept hidden from the public. Tierney's mental health deteriorated as she struggled with guilt, leading to hospitalizations and electroshock therapy. It wasn't until her 1979 autobiography that she revealed the painful story. This personal tragedy also inspired Agatha Christie's novel, The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side. Chapter 15, Clara Bow, America's first it girl and her horrific origins. Clara Bow, the 1920s it girl and first American icon, rose from poverty to stardom, but her real life was marked by trauma. Born in Brooklyn in 1905, she endured abuse and instability. Her mother once attempted to harm her during a psychotic episode, and Clara later revealed she was assaulted by her father. Studios hid her past, crafting a false image of a carefree flapper. Behind the scenes, she battled anxiety, insomnia, and likely PTSD. Her mental health declined, leading to an early retirement at 28. Chapter 16, Bobby Darin, the grandmother he called mother. When teen idol Bobby Darin burst onto the music scene, he presented the image of a confident, ambitious young performer. Born Robert Walden Casado in 1936, he grew up believing that Polly Casado was his mother and Nina was his older sister. The truth was that his sister Nina was actually his biological mother, who had become pregnant at 17 out of wedlock. To avoid scandal, Polly, who was actually his grandmother, claimed Bobby as her own child. Bobby learned the truth from Nina herself in 1968. The revelation devastated him, particularly because he had idolized Polly, the woman he knew as his mother. Chapter 17, Lon Chaney, the silent film star shaped by silent parents. Known as the Man of a Thousand Faces, Lon Chaney became famous for his extraordinary ability to transform himself through makeup and physical contortion. What audiences didn't know was that both his parents were deaf. Growing up in a household where sign language was the primary means of communication profoundly shaped Chaney's artistic development. From childhood, he became extraordinarily skilled at pantomime and facial expression. Chaney fiercely protected his parents from potential mockery or exploitation. He once said his greatest fear was not the elaborate makeup and painful transformations he endured for his roles, but the thought that his success might somehow embarrass his parents. Chapter 18, Ingrid Bergman, exiled for forbidden love. In the 1940s, Ingrid Bergman embodied wholesomeness and virtue to American audiences. In 1949, while still married to her first husband, Bergman traveled to Italy to work with director Roberto Rossellini. They fell passionately in love, and Bergman became pregnant with Rossellini's child while still married. The public reaction was vicious. Bergman was denounced from the floor of the United States Senate. Churches called for boycotts of her films. The backlash was so severe that Bergman was effectively exiled from Hollywood for 7 years. The punishment far exceeded the crime by modern standards, but it reflected the moral expectations placed on female stars in that era. Chapter 19, Charlie Chaplin, the comedy genius and his underage brides. Charlie Chaplin created the beloved Little Tramp character that made audiences worldwide laugh. Off-screen, however, the comedy genius harbored disturbing secrets regarding his relationships with very young women. In 1924, the 35-year-old Chaplin became involved with 16-year-old actress Lita Grey, who was cast in his film The Gold Rush. When Grey became pregnant, Chaplin faced potential criminal charges under California's laws. To avoid prosecution, he hastily arranged a private marriage in Mexico. The marriage quickly deteriorated. When Grey filed for divorce in 1927, her 50-page complaint detailed Chaplin's controlling and demanding behavior. Despite his personal failings, Chaplin's artistic genius created some of cinema's most powerful social commentary. Chapter 20, Gloria Graham, the femme fatale who married her stepson. Gloria Graham captivated audiences as the sultry femme fatale in film noir classics. Her off-screen life contained a scandal so shocking that studios managed to keep hidden for years. In 1948, Graham married director Nicholas Ray. In 1951, Ray allegedly came home early one day and found Graham in bed with his 13-year-old son from a previous marriage, Tony. This discovery led to their immediate separation, though the true reason was kept strictly confidential. After Graham's subsequent marriage ended, she reconnected with Tony Ray, who was by then an adult. In 1960, Graham and Tony married in a secret ceremony in Tijuana, Mexico. Gloria was 37, her former stepson was 22. The revelation came during a custody battle in 1962, effectively ending her Hollywood career. Chapter 21. Barbara Stanwyck, the adopted son who became a stranger. Barbara Stanwyck projected strength and resilience in her film roles. In 1932, she and her first husband adopted a 10-month-old boy they named Dion. Despite her efforts to be a good mother, the relationship between Stanwyck and Dion became increasingly strained as he grew older. By adulthood, mother and son were essentially estranged. In a rare 1960s interview comment about her son, Stanwyck tersely said, "I have no son," effectively closing the topic. The final confirmation came after Stanwyck's passing in 1990, when her will revealed she had left Dion only $5,000 from her considerable estate. The bulk of her fortune went to friends and various charities. Chapter 22. Gary Cooper and Patricia Neal, a secret pregnancy and its aftermath. In the late 1940s, Gary Cooper and Patricia Neal began a passionate affair that was kept out of the papers through studio intervention. In 1950, the situation grew more complicated when Neal became pregnant with Cooper's child. Under pressure from Cooper, Neal made the difficult decision to have an abortion, illegal and dangerous at that time. Cooper arranged the procedure, which Neal later described as the saddest thing that ever happened to me and her greatest regret. Cooper ended the relationship and recommitted to his marriage, even undergoing a religious recommitment to Catholicism. The affair haunted both participants for the rest of their lives. Chapter 23. Dorothy Dandridge, the barrier-breaking beauty who passed away alone. Dorothy Dandridge became the first African-American woman nominated for a Best Actress Oscar for her role in Carmen Jones in 1954, but her groundbreaking achievement came at an enormous personal cost. Despite her extraordinary talent, Hollywood's limited views meant Dandridge could only play stereotypical roles. She was barred from most restaurants and hotels, even when promoting her own films. Her daughter Marilyn was born with severe brain damage, requiring lifelong institutional care. The cost of this care, combined with bad business decisions, left Dandridge financially ruined. On September 8, 1965, she was found deceased in her West Hollywood apartment at age 42 from an accidental overdose. Chapter 24. Hedy Lamarr, the bombshell who invented Wi-Fi. To the world, Hedy Lamarr was simply one of Hollywood's most beautiful women, but behind her stunning facade lay one of the most brilliant scientific minds of the 20th century. During World War II, while working as an actress by day, Lamarr spent her evenings inventing. Working with composer George Antheil, she developed a frequency hopping system designed to prevent the jamming of torpedo guidance systems. In 1942, they received a patent for this technology. The tragic irony is that her revolutionary invention, which would later form the basis for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS technology, was completely ignored during her lifetime because she was just an actress. The patent expired before its true value was recognized. Only in her 80s did the technology industry finally acknowledge her contributions. The woman dismissed as a pretty face had actually laid the groundwork for the digital age. These 24 stories represent just a fraction of the secrets hidden behind Hollywood's golden facade. If you enjoyed this journey through Hollywood's hidden history, hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations of classic cinema's untold stories. And drop a comment, which of these revelations surprised you the most? See you in the next one.